Mark Easton, by the way, and I'm going to be chairing this morning's event. I thought I'd begin, though, with a Burmese proverb. All the best events do. In time of test, family is best. Well, we're certainly living in testing times, and the Coalition's programme for government makes the same point, in slightly less poetic language, I think, but still a good effort. Strong and stable families of all kinds, they say, are the bedrock of a strong and stable society, promising to make Britain more family-friendly. Well, supporting hard-working families has certainly been the rhetorical aim of much economic and social policy over the last 3 decades. Indeed, the phrase hard-working families almost condensing into a kind of one-word focus for government action. But what image does the phrase hard-working family conjure up in your mind? A 1950s style sort of nuclear family, mum and a pinny welcoming her husband home from a hard day at work in a gleaming kitchen to give him a steaming hot homemade shepherd's pie, 2 smiling scrubbed children, golden retriever in its basket. Now, obviously that is exactly what my family is like, but it's not necessarily typical of all families these days. I was at the launch of the latest edition of Social Trends 10 days ago, the sort of annual look at changing Britain, which is put together by the ONS. And there's a whole chapter on households and families, which reveals how these days, you'll probably know these statistics, but they're interesting when you pull them together. Close to 4 out of 10 children don't live with married parents, with almost 1 in 4 children in Britain now living with a lone parent. And there's a fascinating ethnic breakdown in the latest edition when it comes to family structures. Among Asian children, almost 9 out of 10 live with married parents. Among the black population, it's 4 out of 10. And when it comes to children living with lone parents, among Asians, 13%. Among black children, 56%. The majority of black kids in Britain live with just one parent. We're also getting closer to the point where most children, of whatever ethnic background, are born outside marriage. 45% across the UK, but already above 50% in Wales and the northeast of England. Back in 1971, less than 10% of births were outside marriage. Now, marriage, of course, is something that the Conservatives wanted to encourage through the tax system, a pledge that you won't have missed, got squeezed out of the Coalition manifesto, and there are some who question whether this government really is as family-friendly as the rhetoric suggests. It plans, of course, to abolish child trust funds, cut child tax credits, and to freeze child benefit. Sure Start services for all but the most needy will be axed. But they support free nursery care for preschool children, more health visitors, more flexible parental leave, and they promise a crackdown on the commercialisation and sexualisation of childhood. For me, though, there is a huge challenge to British family life, which is not directly addressed by the priorities from any of the main political parties. Because families, really almost by definition, are about people from different generations living together. They are the route by which knowledge and experience is passed down from a senior generation, and sort of energy and new ideas and enthusiasm and support rise up from the bottom. To my mind, generational segregation is far more of a risk to the fabric of our nation now than segregation by race or by gender or by class or by religion. A recent DWP report revealed a pronounced separation between age groups, suggesting that young and old could find themselves in a political and economic battle for resources. It went on to warn that intergenerational prejudice and discrimination could become more directly hostile. I was trying to imagine what this hostility might look like. Sort of, I could see the gang of teenagers on one side, sort of the grannies with Zimmer frames lining up on the other. But it is a real issue, and it is something that I think we need to think deeply about. And indeed, in Britain, some of the political and media debate has encouraged adults to regard the young as potential muggers and for the young to regard adults as potential abusers. When I was a teenager, the old lady seeing me and my mate standing outside the post office would probably have known one of us, maybe a grandchild or a friend of one of her grandchildren. These days, each eyes the other with sort of mutual suspicion, and that's because they don't really have anything in common, which is pretty depressing. So I thought I'd finish with some positive thoughts. Now, the BBC did a survey a couple of years ago on families, and we expected the results to show pretty much what I've been suggesting, how miserable people were about the disintegrating, dysfunctional family environments. In fact, compared with historical polling, our survey showed that people are more optimistic about their family's future, more people describe their family life as close, and they're more likely to say that their parents did the best for them than they did previously. Despite all the changes, we remain remarkably happy with family life. 93% of us describing it as happy or very happy. Why? Well, it may be that our expectations of family life have changed, that we're content with arrangements that our forebears would not have been satisfied with. Perhaps technology has helped family life. Cars, mobile phones, Skype, Facebook. It allows people to get together in ways that previous generations couldn't. But my own explanation for the upbeat view of family life is that it reflects the increasing importance that we place upon it. In a world where identities become more easily blurred, there's a greater need to understand who we are and to put the effort into that. That's why people are obsessed, I think, with family trees and genealogy and tracking down their relatives. So despite the changing nature of family life, perhaps we value it more than ever.